Welcome to this new edition of the information. In the headline, in Uganda, the presidential campaign is coming to an end, while citizens are expected to go to the polls tomorrow. Access to social media has been suspended at the request of the authorities. The reform of the law on natural or health disaster has been adopted in Senegal, establishing a third regime. This reform of the 1969 law strengthened the powers of the president in case of crisis. And we will be heading for the south of Madagascar, where more than 1 million people are threatened by food insecurity, a situation to which non-governmental organizations are alerting. Before Uganda decides, the elections are already expected to be tense, and as if to complete this climate, access to social media has been suspended this Tuesday in the country. A subject from the editorial staff. Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp of the eagerly awaited presidential election, these social networks have been blocked in Uganda on the orders of the National Communications Commission.
Telecommunications companies are hereby ordered to immediately suspend any access and use of social media and online messaging platforms.
An atypical decision which seems at first glance to be in line with the president's desire to prevent the coverage of the ballot by the international media, but it will be nothing of the sort. The outgoing president, Yoweri Museveni, who has held the country in an iron fist since 1986, justified this suspension.
Uganda is ours, it's not anybody's. Those channels of Facebook and I don't know which one. This is unfortunate, but it is unavoidable. There's no way anybody can come and play around with our country to decide who is good, who is bad. This one will stop, this one you cannot accept that.
Since Monday, the social network began an operation to delete the account of government officials accused of coordinated inauthentic behavior aimed at influencing the public debate before the election. The electoral deadline of January 14 already looked very tense. Under the pretext of retaliation against COVID-19, the opponent Bobi Wine and his campaign team were arrested several times. Journalists are not exempt either. In particular, two journalists were attacked while covering the opposition campaign. 1969-2021, almost 52 years that the law related to the state of emergency and the state of siege was unchanged in Senegal. It is now down. The deputies adopted a reform of this text which allows in particular greater speed in the execution of decisions. The details in this subject by Nina Sakaramuko.
In Senegal, the 1969 law on the state of emergency and state of siege was amended earlier this week. It introduces a third regime of natural and sanitary disasters. This evolution of the law allows the president to take exceptional measures without going through the proclamation of state of emergency nor submitting the decision on the National Assembly. The new law divides. It is strongly criticized by human rights associations and the opposition, which denounce a restriction of freedoms. Since December, Senegal has been facing a second wave of contamination. The authorities reinstated the night curfew and imposed the wearing of masks in the streets throughout the country for 3 months.
Also in the news, Tunisia is back to lockdown, lasting 4 days. This general lockdown has been formalized by the Minister of Health. In the country, the health situation has indeed deteriorated. Makeshift hospitals also had to be built to relieve congestion of pre-existing health services. Angola will benefit from $487.5 million. The disbursement has been approved by the International Monetary Fund. The disbursement should help the country to revive its economy, which has been heavily affected by the oil crisis price linked to COVID-19. This loan does bring to $3 billion, the amount already granted to Angola under the extended fund facility of the International Monetary Authority. Southern Madagascar threatened by a humanitarian crisis. For the past 3 years, the region has been suffering from a severe drought, which drastically reduces the chance of the population to feed itself, and the economic recession caused by COVID-19 is not helping, a subject of the editorial staff. The population of southern Madagascar is experiencing for the third consecutive year a severe drought, which seriously hinders its food security. Fields cannot be worked, and with the pandemic, the demand for seasonal workers is scarce.
This year there was no labor. They move around without finding any labor anywhere, both in urban areas or on the rural areas due to the drought and due to the COVID lockdowns.
And 2021 seems to enter this sad continuity. Children are particularly affected by this situation, dropping out of school because they cannot attend classes with an empty stomach. A total of 1.3 million people are threatened, and people are trying to survive by any means necessary.
When I can go begging in the neighboring village, I dig the sand. These last few days I couldn't go there because I feel very weak. When you can't find anything under the sand, you drink seawater. It's bad for your health, but we had no choice.
To avoid the humanitarian crisis, the WFP, World Food Programme, has once again sounded the alarm. The non-governmental organization has launched an appeal for an emergency aid of $35 million. As DR Congo announced in November the end of its 11th Ebola epidemic, a global emergency vaccine reserve is being established for this disease. It was announced by the Gavi Vaccine Alliance. The 500,000 doses stockpile will be available free of charge to low and middle income countries. Thank you for following this edition of The Information. The information continues on Baris TV.
Baris TV, l'échange de l'Afrique avec le monde.